Hey, it's Sharon here from Content Sparks, and in this video I'm going to give you a sneak peek inside all the materials you'll get when you purchase a license to our course called Keep Your Customers for Life. And I'll give you a peek inside most of the materials so you get a good sense of what you're going to get. And remember that this is all brandable, editable, customizable to your market. You can put your name on it and teach it to your customers, clients, prospects, members, or sell it. So first you'll see that there are 3 folders of materials here: student materials, instructor materials, and lead generation materials. And there are screenshots on this page of all the different contents as well so that you can go back and review it. Now the student materials are for your students and also for your own learning if you want to use this to learn from yourself. So that's everything your students need. The instructor materials are for you as the instructor. So whether you're doing it live or recorded video or webinar, things like that. And then the lead generation materials are things to help you attract students to your course and build your list of prospects. So let's go into the student materials first. And here you'll see there's a course book. That's the main material with all the information about the topic on keeping your customers for life, retention and re-engagement strategies. Action guide for completing the action steps. Cheat sheet is a summary, nice overview, which is great for you also to get an idea of what's in there. Graphics are of all key points. So people can visualize some of it. Overview infographic is of the whole course, not a nice reference point of where you are at any one point. And then the slides handout, or if you get the Blaze package, the full package, something really useful to give to people so they don't have to start copying down everything that's on slides. So the course book first, I will open up. And you can see there's a place for your logo. It's all nicely styled, but you might want to add your own brand, theme, logo, fonts, things like that. That's very easy to do in Word in the Design tab, and I have a tutorial on that, as well as a branding guide that you can download. And then it's just laid out in the usual table of contents. Add your name and URL in the bottom. All the modules have an overview on this page, and I'll just scroll through so you can see. Learning objectives are there. At the end of each module, you'll see a place to put a place for action steps. You can see these graphics in here. So at the end of each one, as I said, there's the action steps. There's also key takeaways. So there's a nice little summary. And let me just go back here a second. You'll see there's the customer lifecycle marketing model. So that's another course that we have called Customer Lifecycle Marketing. And this course follows on with that. It gives a little overview in case you don't teach that course, but it goes into one part of this, the lifecycle marketing model, and that's the delight phase in particular, where you're delighting people so that they'll stay with you, but you're also doing some re-engagement tactics. So that's the course book. And then, as I mentioned, the action guide is for completing those action steps. There are actually 2 things in this course: an action guide and a checklist that goes with one of the activities. I'll open up the action guide first, and you'll see it follows just like the course book. You put your brand, your logo in there, add your URL and name in the footer and any other styling you want to do. And then it's laid out with places for people to fill in their activities. And I mentioned that in one of the activities, in the very first one, they complete this Customers for Life checklist to get their starting point, where they are with customer retention and re-engagement, and they'll look at that at the end as well. So let me open up that checklist for you. And you'll see there's a place for them to check off for where they are now and everything. So that's really handy as well. And you could even end up using something like this as a lead magnet, stylize it a bit, maybe, obviously add your call to action and other information about your company and your course, and you could use it as a lead magnet. So that's a nice little bonus there. Cheat sheet, as I mentioned, is a summary of the course. So this is really handy as a handout. So if you're doing an online course, for example, and you have video, people like to be able to get a nice little summary rather than either having to read back through a course book or watch the video and have tons of stuff to go through. They have all the key points right here, and you could add your branding and everything and then separate it into separate little cheat sheets that you can attach to each module. Or if you're delivering it as an email course, you could attach it as a summary. Or say you're doing this in separate webinars, use these as a handout at the end to encourage people to stay until the end of the webinar. So people love those cheat sheets. Graphics are graphics of key points from the module. We put these in the course book as well as in the slides, so you'll see those in a second when I go through the slides. And they're in PowerPoint, so they're easy to edit, but this way you could also print them out if you wanted, or we put it in this what's called shapes file, so that it's not, we create these in Smart Art, but if you don't have PowerPoint 2010 or higher, then you can use this file to edit your materials. So going back up now, the last couple things here I mentioned, there's an overview infographic. This is a nice snapshot of the whole course, so you can always refer back to it when you're teaching, or it gives you an overview as well. And the slides handout, if you do have the Blaze you're teaching, say you're teaching live, give people this, and then they can edit, they can take notes. And you can actually go in and edit some of this stuff. It's basically, we generate the handouts from Word, and you can open it up and go in and change your logo. So you can just double click on any of these if you needed to edit something. So that's, I think, everything in this customer materials, or the student materials. Let's go into the instructor ones. There's the slideshow, also with speaking notes that underneath the slides and separately, an implementation guide with more instructions, valuation form that you can hand out to people or put into a survey tool, some follow-up emails for after the course is done, and some research sources for you to follow, and then some other documents as well. So if I go into the slideshow folder first, I will open up the slideshow for you. And again, there's the place for your logo or your branding. And we've kept this, again, relatively generic so that you can add your theme. That's, again, a pretty simple thing to do in PowerPoint, and there are tutorials on that on our blog. And then underneath each slide, you'll also see some speaking notes. You want to do things in your own language, but this follows along with the course book so that you have a guide for your script, your presentation, your videos, things like that. If you're doing this live, there's a place for you to remind you to ask questions, explain the activity, and debrief anything. And then again, you'll see that those graphics are in here. This one we did as a build so that you don't have to do animation. You can just go from slide to slide and explain each point separately. And then you'll see those other graphics. So if you don't have time to search for images, you can use some of these Smart Art ones, leave them in there. And then for some of the other slides, you might want to grab an image in PowerPoint or a free source like Unsplash, or paid ones like Deposit Photos, things like that. So that's the slideshow. And you can use this to present on a webinar or record it as a video, either with a screen share or a webinar recording, things like that. The other part in here I mentioned was the speaker notes, and those are generated from the slides. So you'll get a Word document that has the notes from the slides underneath each one. So some people do like to use this as a separate document when presenting or recording rather than trying to read from under the slides. Now going back up, there is an implementation guide. I'm not going to go into that. That has some additional instructions for you that will help you with running the course, and along with an overview and some tool suggestions. There's an evaluation form that has questions to get people's feedback after the course. So stick that in a tool like SurveyMonkey and send it so that you can get the results more easily, or just hand it out if you're doing it live. Follow-up emails, After the course, you want to keep in touch with people, send them more tips. We've given you 5 to get you started. You'll obviously want to do more. You don't have to use these in any order. Use them however you want. For instance, add your own ones first to share more information during the course, and then maybe add these at the end to keep building the relationship. So those are up to you. And research sources are some links to different sources that we use or ones you might want to look into to beef up your knowledge on customer retention and re-engagement strategies, that ideas for keeping customers for life. And then I mentioned there are some other things in here. There's a suggested curriculum, which you'll also see on the sales page, and a list of the actual contents of everything you're getting, an overview with the learning objectives, and then all the materials, so you get a snapshot. It's kind of like a table of contents for the whole course that you're getting. And that is pretty much everything except a few other PDFs in the instructor materials. The last folder is the lead generation materials for attracting students and building your list. So you'll get an opt-in report in 3 formats. First is the opt-in report itself, so traditional report format. And I'll open that up. You can see it's called 5 Effortless Ways Anyone Can Keep Customers for Life, and it's set up in 5 steps. So this is easy to deliver also as an email, some sort of e-course. There are steps at the end of each. You could also do this as a challenge, and you could even do it as a webinar as well and give people the different steps to do. But we also give that to you in a cheat sheet format and a slideshow. So the cheat sheet is similar to the other cheat sheet I showed you. So there's that overview of the whole report with the next steps at the end. So say you're doing this also as a challenge, you could also make these into separate PDFs and hand them out, especially a webinar, again, to get people to stay to the end. And we do give you the slideshow version, so you could easily deliver this as a webinar or a video. And again, we've put the speaking notes underneath and kept it generic so you can add images, smart art, things like that. And there is a reminder at the end on the last slide to add your call to action. And then the rest is whatever you typically do in your videos or presentations, like something about yourself in the beginning, bio, something about your company, things like that. That is the lead magnet aspect. You'll want to send emails, of course, after you've delivered your webinar lead magnet. We give you 7. The first one, after people opt in or register, is just giving them their link and then a quick overview of what was in that report. Then you go into 5 different emails with some different tips that follow along with the report. So they're set up so there's a place to put your tag from your autoresponder, change up the subject line, add in your personal greeting. Then there's the main body of the email, and then you want to put in your own signature and call to action. And then the very last email here, the 7th one, is more like a little mini sales letter that you'd send in an email, where you're going to say, here's what you can do to get faster results, a little introduction to the course and what they can learn. You want to insert any other specific features you're giving. For instance, if you are making the slides into videos, or you're doing a group support Facebook group, and then of course your call to action. So those are the important elements for building your list, attracting students, and then we give you some materials that you could publish on the web, including 5 blog posts on different topics related to customer retention and re-engagement. And there's a place at the bottom of each one to remind you to put your sales page link. You could also do this to your opt-in. So you'll see there are 5 of those. If you are publishing them on your blog, you're going to want to change the title, rewrite some bits, add some more, add images, make it a little more unique to you so that it will get ranked. Infographic goes along also with that opt-in report, so it's kind of an overview. This is good for sending traffic to your opt-in because it gives the high level, and then you go into more detail. So you can share that on social media or use it as another handout for students or leads. And then the last thing here are some social media posts. So what we've done is put these in a spreadsheet where there are 30 different ones here, and we put them in a spreadsheet where the number of characters is counted in there also. So you can just go in and edit. Here, I'll open this up as well. You can just go in and edit these, and then you'll see how many characters as you edit and add your links, and put these on images, or you can make them longer for Facebook or anywhere else that you want to use it. And that is everything. So again, there are student materials, instructor materials, and lead generation materials. If you're using this just for your own learning and you never intend to teach it at all, then you'll want the student materials, which are in the Beacon package. If you have some other course that you want to sell and you only want to generate leads, you could just get the lead generation materials in the Flash package. So those are just lead generation. But especially for anyone where you think you might want to sell this at some point or teach it to your own customers, get the Blaze package, which has the student, the instructor, and the lead generation materials. And let me know if you have any questions at all. You can always reach us at support@contentsparks.com. Looking forward to hearing from you, and let me know if you have any questions. Take care.